آل سيدنا محمد عدد من يمشي على رجلين ومن يمشي على أربع من يوم خلقت الدنيا إلى يوم القيامة. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد عدد من صلى عليه من الجن والإنس والملائكة من يوم خلقت الدنيا إلى يوم القيامة. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد عدد من لم يصل عليه. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما يجب أن يصلى عليه. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما ينبغي أن يصلى عليه. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد حتى لا يبقى شيء من الصلاة عليه. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد في الأولين وصل على سيدنا محمد في الآخرين. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد في الملأ الأعلى إلى يوم الدين. ما شاء الله لا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وأسألك اللهم بالأسماء التي دعاك بها سيدنا آدم عليه السلام، وبالأسماء التي دعاك بها سيدنا نوح عليه السلام، وبالأسماء التي دعاك بها سيدنا هود عليه السلام، وبالأسماء التي دعاك بها سيدنا إبراهيم عليه السلام، وبالأسماء التي دعاك بها سيدنا صالح عليه السلام، وبالأسماء التي دعاك بها سيدنا يونس عليه السلام، وبالأسماء التي دعاك بها سيدنا أيوب عليه السلام، وبالأسماء التي دعاك بها سيدنا يعقوب عليه السلام، وبالأسماء التي دعاك بها سيدنا يوسف عليه السلام، وبالأسماء التي دعاك بها سيدنا موسى عليه السلام، وبالأسماء التي دعاك بها سيدنا هارون عليه السلام، وبالأسماء التي دعاك بها سيدنا شعيب عليه السلام، وبالأسماء التي دعاك بها سيدنا إسماعيل عليه السلام، وبالأسماء التي دعاك بها سيدنا داود عليه السلام، وبالأسماء التي دعاك بها سيدنا سليمان عليه السلام، وبالأسماء التي دعاك بها سيدنا زكريا عليه السلام، وبالأسماء التي دعاك بها سيدنا يحيى عليه السلام، وبالأسماء التي دعاك بها سيدنا أرميا عليه السلام، وبالأسماء التي دعاك بها سيدنا شعياء عليه السلام، وبالأسماء التي دعاك بها سيدنا إلياس عليه السلام، وبالأسماء التي دعاك بها سيدنا اليسع عليه السلام، وبالأسماء التي دعاك بها سيدنا ذو الكفل عليه السلام، وبالأسماء التي دعاك بها سيدنا.
The believer, it is farz. This is not even tasawwuf, it is farz. It is farz when you see something wrong, to correct it. The believer is not someone who sees something wrong and he just leaves it alone, he shrugs his shoulders, or he joins in, or he says, I love everyone. That is a believer. It's completely different. He has to say, this is wrong, and he has to fight it. He has to stand up. This is why Shaykh Effendi says so many times, Islam is not ruling, because there's no Amr bil Ma'ruf, Nahiya min Munkar. There is no enjoining something that is good and forbidding something that is evil. Now we live in this zaman, we live in this time, we live in this ruling system. We live with these scholars, we live with these teachers, we live in this situation. Now we need to know what it is. And do we live in a time when goodness is everywhere and goodness is encouraged, or we live in a completely different life? You know what? You don't have to be a believer to know that question and the answer to that question. You don't need to be a Muslim to understand the answer to that question. We're living in the worst of times. So if you understand the situation, if you understand the zaman, the time that you're living in, then you're going to go according to that. And the Prophet has given us advice in every period, in every time. He has given us enough guidance 1400 years ago for the believers to live their lives until Judgment Day, how to conduct themselves. You see something wrong, you must correct it. You cannot correct with your hands, you must correct with your tongue. You cannot, you must correct in your heart. But you must do something. Now you cannot correct it with your hands, because the hands, meaning the power and the authority, only the Khalifa has that power, has that authority. You think Muslim governments have that power? No, they cannot. They cannot stop anything. So now in these times, Islam is not ruling. It's become a private religion. It's not ruling. But the Prophet ﷺ did not bring Islam as a private religion. He brought Islam that changed the whole system that has been set up there for thousands of years. With his people, not only with the mushriks living in Arabia, but also with the Persians that's ruling that part of the world for thousands of years. That is the meaning, that when he was born, ﷺ, the fire that has been there for 1,000 years, that the Parsis, the Persians, they are burning, is finished. So that civilization also. What civilization? It's not civilization. If you don't know your Lord and you don't give the rights to your Lord, you cannot give the rights to each other. You cannot. And for you to know your Lord and for you to know each other and to give the rights, you need a prophet. And you need to submit to that prophet, alayhi salatu wasalam. So the time and the condition. He came not as a private man with a belief and saying that it's okay, forget about everything. He came to bring down that system. Not only his system, the Persians, the Zoroastrians. Who else? The Romans. Who else? Whoever that is ruling there, especially around there in the Middle East, he brought it down. There are other civilizations in time. You will understand. The Egyptians, he brought them down. Those who came from Central Asia, for example, Genghis and his grandsons who came to destroy Islam, they destroyed much of the Islamic civilization. But again, what kind of civilization it is when it's not teaching you how to know your Lord and to give him his rights and to give the rights of the people? What kind of civilization is that? The West is so happy to praise, for example, Andalusia, Spain, praising Iraq, huh? The Abbasis living in Baghdad, praising golden age, golden age. For the Muslims, for the believers, they say for dunya maybe it is a golden age, maybe. But what is the use of gaining dunya in the name of Allah if you're not giving the rights of Allah and the ummah, and by following the sunnah of the Prophet? If you don't carry that, that is not a civilization. Allah will come and smack you. If you cannot carry that, or if the people reject that. If the people reject that, as so many times the ummah, they reject the Prophet, no? Then Allah is saying, we'll take the Prophet back. But disaster happens to that. We need to know as believers, conditions that we're living in, so that we know how to carry our faith. As Shaykh Effendi said in the sohbah that we read yesterday, Islam began strange and it will end strange. Carrying faith in these times is like carrying live coal into your hands. In your hands, if it burns one hand, you have to pass it to another. You cannot drop it. You do this, it's too difficult. You cannot do this with your right, you have to do it with your left, but you still cannot drop it. You cannot do this in Islam. You must find something else to do. You must find something else to do. You cannot drop it. And that's for everyone from kings to porters to people, us. So you must know the conditions. Who and where are these teachers that teach you these conditions of the time that we're living in and how to live as believers? I'll tell you where they are. Those ones who say we need new mazhab. Those ones who say we need new ijtihad. Those ones who say we reject all khilafat. Khalifa is not coming back. Now we have to make peace with what? With this system. What is this system? The system of Jababira. The system of tyranny. The system of Dajjal. We have to make peace with it. What do you mean make peace? Make peace with the enemy? Like making peace with shaitan and say we're not going to fight anymore? Go ahead, that's what they're doing. So now they're taking everything and they say this is the new Islam. So what do they call about this Islam? Reform Islam. You want to reform it. They're doing it. Don't think just because Shaykh Effendi has been saying it for years or a little bit. No. Huge amounts of resources and people and money and everything is pumped to change this. He's just saying. Because they say it's still a threat. What is a threat? Islam. Islam in the hands of rightly guided leaders, they are a threat. So remove all the leaders. When you remove the rightly guided leaders, you cannot obey the Prophet. You cannot obey Allah because Allah has set that protocol. Obey Allah, obey His Prophet, and obey the rightly guided leaders. So remove that. So now we have wrongly guided leaders. So it is very difficult to reach the Prophet ﷺ and his wisdom and his mercy. How are we going to reach to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? So now Islam is not ruling. People are having private religion and they pick and choose what they want. These times, as the Prophet said, is a time of biting tyranny. People have become more and more selfish because they learn only to take care of themselves. Anything that happens, they say, has nothing to do with us. Everyone is asking for unity. Unity. There's words in Tasawwuf in Islam, unity, oneness. In order to have unity and oneness, there has to be one leader. That they don't want to mention. So you want to have unity, but everyone is a head. Complete disaster. But they say, leave it. Let it be like this. So even the Muslims reach 3 billion, 4 billion, 5 billion Muslims. They're headless. They are like a lion that they cut off the whiskers, they cut off the mane, cut off the beard, cut off everything, put on a suit and a tie, say now become a monkey like us, don't you see? Now you look very nice. So, Alhamdulillah, we are not in front. If we are in front, we are under the direct, questioning, responsibility. We are not. Don't try to be. So many people, so no, we must try, we must try. Go ahead and try. You think you're going to change the system? The Prophet says, step back right now. The system will change you. You knowing it or not knowing it, the system is going to change you. That time you're going to sit powerless, and even if you see open kufr that is happening in the land of the saints and the land of the prophets, open kufr. you cannot say anything because you don't have a power. Because the power that you have is not coming from Allah, it is coming from the tyrants, or it's coming from your government. Because you want that power. If not, if you're asking it from Allah, now is the time, as it is in the time of Jahiliyyah, where you have to make hijrah. In the time of Jahiliyyah, you have to make hijrah. You have to escape. What is the reason for that escape? What is the reason for that hijrah? To find better job, better life for your family, better this, to practice your faith. So we have to think. Taken bayat, we've moved here. We've made our hijrah. This is for our faith. We didn't come here to have country life, organic life. We come here to practice our faith. If this country, if this area, if this New York, there were deserts, we'd be in the desert where no one is going to bother us. But we live in a land where there are a lot of mountains. Same. One is high, one is low. But same. You are lost in that creation of Allah. You cannot claim anything. A man can claim he's something in the middle of the desert. You understand there is a Lord. The man can claim he's something in the top of a mountain where everything else is stronger than him. No, he cannot. So if you don't have guidance in how to live your life now, you will lose your faith. One word that you say, you will lose your faith. What do I mean? One word that you say to support the tyrant or tyrannical people or Dajjal, you will lose your faith. These are dangerous times. The most important thing is our faith. Is this important for Muslims? I don't think so. Muslims are saying, I have faith, I give shahadat, I say it, I fast, I go to Hajj, I do everything. What do you mean I lose my faith? I said, okay, good luck to you. Because faith is not what we do. Faith is a trust that Allah gives to us. It's an imanat. And we have to protect that. What are we doing to protect? If you think you don't have to do anything, especially in these times, then you're in big trouble. People know if they're traveling with $1 million, they have insurance, they have a car, armored car, they have security, they have this, they have that. 1 million, 1 billion, let's say, in these days. Our faith is more precious than that. What are we doing to make sure that it is protected? Our great-grandfathers, they knew. This is why we are called Ahli Sunnah. The people who are protecting the traditions of the Prophet, protecting it, because it can't just be destroyed like that. 1400 years, their main thing was to destroy the traditions of the Prophet. They don't mind mixing it. It's not to, they don't mind compromising it. The mushriks at one point, they say, we mix up your religion, it's okay. Whatever you believe same way. But you're not going to be in charge. We don't follow you 100%. Let's do mix. Let's have a compromise. One year we worship Allah, next year we worship all the idols. We follow you one year, we don't follow you another year. I said, no, this is not how you live Islam. The Prophet says, if you give the moon on my right hand and the sun on my left, I will not abandon this religion. How many Muslims now are very excited because we're going to Mars? It's like a Jahannam in Mars. How many Muslim governments and people, they are very happy about this. So you're not looking, understanding the situation, understanding the age, and you don't know how to look with the eyes of the Prophet ﷺ, with the nur of Allah. Because you let go of all the ropes. You let go of all the ropes of Allah. And you say, I am the rope. So, dangerous times. Allah save us. We are up here. Are we claiming that we are saved and we're going to go to paradise, it's very foolish to make any claim. We are holding on tightly to our Shaykh. He will lead us to safety. The minute we let go, we do it to ourselves. As our Shaykh says so many times, you drive a car for 40 years, same road. One day, you decide to sleep and not drive and let the car to drive itself, it will crash you. This is our ego. And we need to check, we need to see. We should not be tricked. And we need to be in a Jamaat. And we need to observe holy days and nights together to worship. We need to hold on strongly to each other, inshallah Rahman. Then that time the Rahmat comes. It will be a little bit easier. Because if you're alone, it's difficult, yes. Being in Jamaat has its own difficulties too. People, sometimes people, they are crying because they say, we're very far away from you, please, please, please. I said, okay. Same thing with Shaykh Effendi one time. He's saying to me, these ones, they're crying, they want to come here. And Shaykh Effendi says, why you want to come? No, I want to be with you, I want to serve you, I want to do this, I want to do that. Shaykh Effendi says, you come here, and then later you're going to get bored too. Then later you're going to leave and you're going to curse at us. If you're coming here to worship, you will hold on to it. If you're coming here for something else, then after a while you will get bored. You're not going to see the point. May Allah keep us strong, inshallah, in this way, dunya and akhirat, and to forgive all our weakness, to forgive all our wrong thinkings and wrong actions in the past few months that has entered. May Allah accept our weak service, inshallah, for the sake of our Shaykh. And may He open the way for us, for Ramadan, to become better, to worship better, to fast better, to become better believers for Allah and His Prophet, and for our Shaykh, for each other. For us to be strong if we are tested, and not bring us to the test, Ya Rabbi. For more protection in every way, physically and spiritually, in every way, for us and for the Jamaat and for the believers. And for us to have the power and the strength to continue this mission of our Shaykh until we die, and to make it better every day, every week, every month, and every year until we die. May Allah give us the power, inshallah, to understand the tricks and the traps of our ego and to defeat it. May Allah not let us to become fools, to be fooled, and to have fools around us. May Allah make us to become more intelligent, inshallah, and more sincere and more simple and more happy with Him. May Allah bring down the tyrants. May Allah open the way for the believers to come together. And may Allah send Sahibu Saif and Sahibu Zaman soon, inshallah. May Allah forgive me and bless you. Al-Fatiha. Amin. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Okay. Any questions? Any other thing anyone wants to say? Yes? I'll see if yes. Buneh? Who me? Okay. Very good. Afiyat olsun. Eat your lokma. Evet. Alaikum salam.
If I have some health problems, how can I approach this using the religion? Is there anything spiritual that I can do with these health problems?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Your attitude has to be, when you have health problems, to know that everything good is coming from Allah, and anything that is bad, it is coming from your ego. this is something that is happening to you in your health, to approach it not only with religion but also with spirituality, to know that this is a test that is coming from Allah. Take lesson from it. What is a lesson to be learned from, let's say, issues of health as a believer? What are you supposed to learn from that if you're sick? Most people say, oh, it's a punishment. Then they say, what did I do that I deserve to be punished like this? Then there's a problem there. What we didn't do to deserve every punishment that is coming to us. Suza. As a believer, when you get sick, what are you supposed to think? As a believer, when some misfortune happens to you, what are you supposed to understand from it? The believer must know that he is weak, that he is a servant, that illness comes from Allah, the cure also comes from Him. And any situation where you find yourself weak, the believer should take that and say, Ya Rabbi, I declare my weakness. Not to say I'm sick and then I'm getting angry or I'm getting sad or this. I say, Ya Rabbi, I'm weak. I know I'm weak. You sent me this sickness because I'm weak. Thank you, Ya Rabbi, for reminding me how weak I am. Because when you don't get weak, you think you're very strong. You think you live forever. You start worshipping yourself, you're in big trouble. The health is not coming only because you eat well or you do this, you have supplements or this or that. It doesn't matter. You'll find you. Don't take it for granted. As Hazrat Ali is saying, giving advice. Take advantage of your health before sickness comes to you. Now the believer knows that everything, sickness for example, it is a reminder from Allah. First, take that attitude. Allah is reminding me that I am weak. Yes, Ya Rabbi, I am weak. Of this little headache that I have, suddenly my whole world is upside down. Yesterday I'd forget about everything. I used to think I'm on top of the world. This little headache, it knocked me down. How weak I am, Ya Rabbi. Astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah. That kind of astaghfirullah when you are sick, that kind of worship when you are sick, it is so valuable to Allah. It is so sincere to you. Compare yourself when you're sick and you pray, and when you're healthy and you pray. Now you will know. As the hadith is saying, Allah loves for His servant to beg and to ask from Him. As the Prophet ﷺ is saying, the sign that Allah does not love that servant is when he doesn't even have a toothache. First, this is the attitude. Before you say, I get sick because of this, because all that you can figure out. Why you got sick, because you like this, or you expose yourself to this, or you're dirty, or this or that. And where to get that one, everybody knows. You don't know, you can Google what to do. But to take the understanding of spirituality, that understanding that everything is coming from Allah, this you must try to have. Anything that is coming to attack your desires, to attack your appetite for life, you must be a little bit happy. You must be very happy. You must say, Alhamdulillah. I thought maybe I was becoming worse and worse, just eating and drinking, for instance. Now something happened to me and I don't have appetite anymore. Alhamdulillah, I'm free from this. Because one day, all your appetite for life, everything is going to end too, you know. It's going to finish. Those who don't want to give up, those who don't know how to give up, hell is going to reach to them. Before they die, when they die, and when they are in the grave. But for those who look at this opportunity and say that, Alhamdulillah, I'm feeling pain here, I'm feeling pain there. It's about time. So many people, they suffer. So, the illness take it as a sign from Allah in your intention, but in your actions, find a cure, whatever is available for you. But make the intention, this cure, it is for me to become a better one for you and to run in your way. You do that, it'll be okay. That time, this or that is happening, you say, this is from my Lord. This is from my Lord. You're not going to get too much sad. You're going to start accepting a little bit more. Understand? May Allah not test us. May Allah not test us with sickness or this or that, but if Allah is giving it to us, may it make our faith to become stronger, inshallah. May we have strength and health to run in the way of Allah. May Allah forgive me and bless you, inshallah. Al-Fatiha. Ameen. Yes? Huh? Say.
How can I become a real man in the Dergahi if I do not have the physical presence of my Shaykh and the Jamaat around me?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Slowly, the way will open, inshallah. And it's not to say if physically that you are here and you're under training, suddenly you're going to become like that. A real person, a real man or a real woman or a real believer. Because it takes some time for it to kick in also. If you are separated from us, that is for a reason. Be patient. The time will come, if you are sincere, that the doors will open. Nothing can stop you that time. But until it opens, prepare yourself. Again, that I'm saying. What does that mean? To be a real woman, a real man, a real person here. What does that mean? To be big and to be strong. To do whatever you want. To think whatever you want. To say whatever you want. To curse. No. What does it mean to be a real man, for instance? What are we understanding from our Shaykh to be a real man? It is to carry responsibility. To carry responsibility and to put others first and you are last. A man does not become a man until he becomes a husband and becomes a father. He completes his religion, he completes his way of life, he completes everything, at least now. Now, do you need to be physically close now to the Shaykh or to the Dergah to understand, to carry responsibilities? No, you don't have to. Do whatever that is necessary for you over there that you can carry. You're living with your father, your mother. You're always fighting with them. Say, I can't wait to leave them so I can live in the Dergah. You don't know how to get along over there. You will probably not know how to get along here. So if you learn how to get along and step on your ego over there and draw lines and to carry some unpleasantness, some bitterness, and to help, then that time, 1,000 miles away, the Shaykh is training you by remote control. It's not that difficult to do. But then if you have a different idea of what a man is, not all of that, but something else, even if you are here, you're not going to get it. You're going to be in bigger trouble. It is to swallow unpleasantness. It is to get along with people. It is to carry responsibilities. It is not going to, you don't have the freedom. To be a man, you don't have the freedom. You don't have the freedom to see, to say, to act, to speak, to feel whatever that you want. Because you know Allah is looking and your Shaykh is looking. And that time you adjust your heart and you say, if my Lord is looking at my heart 40 times a day, what about my Prophet? What about my Allah? So now, you become more responsible. You understand? You do something wrong, you run to do something right. This burns in this hand, you change. You do something. You don't just sit and do whatever you want. I don't have that freedom, you don't have that freedom. When you start fighting against your ego, And that's the time you become a man. Wa min Allahu tawfiq. Al-Fatiha. You stop becoming a mummy's boy. That no one is going to bail you out. You have to do what is right. You have to have honor. You have to speak the truth. Which means you have to understand all the ugly parts of yourself. Becoming a man is to have a shaykh in this situation to say, look, you are very lazy. Right? Don't say that, shaykh. Why? My father always says that. You didn't listen to your father, now you have to listen to me. You're rebellious. You're stubborn. You're this, you're that. Thinking that you're going to escape and come here and to be free. No. You come here, you still bring yourself. And if you are not going to check your ego and your life and to try to fix, then why are you here? Why are you here? We're here to fix ourselves. We're here for someone, alhamdulillah, here we have someone that can sincerely say to us, look, I did a checkup of you, and this one is off, this one is wrong, this one is pretty good, this one you can go far. No. Outside, people, they spend thousands of dollars just to have someone to give, the diagnostic on you. In every way. Physically, spiritually, mentally, and everything. Here we have that. Then you're going to look, you accept, you change, you become better. Who are you doing it for? For me? You can't do anything for me. Do it for yourself. Do it for each other. If you like. If you don't like, leave it. Who cares? So, being a man also, you cannot run away from certain things. Maybe you think, this one I don't like all my life and he's saying all these things about me. So it must be a lie. Not necessarily. Like you say, I don't like my father. He always says I'm lazy. I'm not. I'm like this, like this, like this. I said, okay. Now you have a chance. Before I say, you fix yourself. You don't fix yourself. I say, you know what? You're kind of lazy here. Don't say that. Say, it's true. But change. You trust me? You didn't trust your father. Now trust me. Try to fix it, because we have to finish before we die. If we don't finish before we die, the grave is going to finish it for us. At least you're going to be aware. You're aware of that. You say, but I cannot change so much. Don't worry about changing so much. Are you aware? Yes. Slowly, step by step. Didn't Allah promise? You take one step to me, I will take 10 steps to you. But you cannot be stubborn. You cannot be arrogant. You cannot say, no, I don't have that problem. And then that's very difficult. That time, in this way, you deny having that problem. There's a time they come and they put you in a straight jacket because you become a crazy person, and they treat you with medicines that is very painful. Allah make it easy for us, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum. Afirosan, eat your lokma. Eat it. Look, I'm eating too. Bismillah. Nom nom nom. Afirosan. This much is enough, inshallah. Wa min Allahu tawfiq. Al-Fatiha.
وعلى جميع النبيين والمرسلين أن تصلي على سيدنا محمد نبيك عدد ما خلقته من قبل أن تكون السماء مبنية والأرض مدحية والجبال مرسية والبحار مجرأة والعيون منفجرة والأنهار منهمرة والشمس مضحية والقمر مضيئا والكواكب مستنيرة كنت حيث كنت لا يعلم أحد حيث كنت إلا أنت وحدك